Today, we will start episode 13 from Surah An-Nissa, and we begin from verse 122. It says, "But those who believe and do righteous deeds, we will admit them to gardens beneath which rivers flow, to abide therein forever. This is the true promise of Allah, and who is truer in statement than Allah?" Here, in fact, it means those who truly believed in Allah. Those who truly believed in Allah and the Quran and fulfilled the obligations. These are the ones who will enter paradise, beneath which rivers of water, wine, milk, and honey flow. And all these things are very good. Who is the source here? The source here is Bar al-Ulum, still Markandil. The real question here is about this verse. Is there anyone who can be compared to Allah in truthfulness of speech? Kilak here means saying, so who is truer in speech than Allah? There is none. Honestly, I don't know anyone who is truer in speech than Allah. I mean, it's only logical to ask the question if the thing in question could actually happen. But as long as it's not even possible for that thing to happen in the first place, because there is no other God who can be compared to Allah in truthfulness. And you can't compare Allah to humans in terms of truthfulness either, because Allah has a completely different essence and nature from humans. The truth is, this was a question about why the question is even asked in the first place if the thing mentioned in the question can't actually happen at all. You get what I mean, right? 123. It is not according to your wishes, nor the wishes of the people of the book. Whoever does evil will be recompensed for it, and will not find any protector or helper besides Allah. This is the truth. The reason this verse was revealed is that the Muslims said to the people of the book, "We are more rightly guided than you." Meaning, we have more faith than you do. So the people of the book replied to them, saying, "No, we are more rightly guided than you. We have more faith than you do." Then the verse was revealed. The verse tells them, it's not about what you say, nor what they say. The whole matter is tied to good deeds. Believe and do good deeds, all right. If you do evil, you'll be repaid for it, whether you're a Muslim or from the people of the book. That's how it works. If you do bad deeds, you'll be punished, and you won't find anyone to help you or protect you from God's punishment on the Day of Judgment. All right. What's the source? Al-Tibyan, the comprehensive collection of Quranic sciences by Al-Tawsi. Very nice. 124. And whoever does righteous deeds, whether male or female, while being a believer, those will enter paradise and will not be wronged in the least. Here, actually, the reason for the revelation is that the people of the book also told the Muslims, "We and you are the same, we're just like you." So, basically, we're the same, we're like you and you're like us. Then the verse was revealed. Basically, every time there's a discussion between them, verses come down to address it. Anyway, so what does this mean? The meaning of what's mentioned in verse 124 is the same as what's in verse 122. Whoever does good deeds will enter paradise. You see, good deeds are connected to what? Faith is naturally connected to good deeds. And the phrase, "they will not be wronged even as much as a speck," means they won't be wronged in the slightest. They won't be wronged at all, ever, not even the tiniest bit. That's what Nakirath means, just so you know. Actually, the source here is Zad al-Mazir Fi ilm al-Tafsir by Ibn al-Jawzi. The real question here is, it says they did good deeds and entered paradise. Okay, so as long as they did good deeds and entered paradise, they won't be wronged even a speck. So what's the point? I mean, it's not even possible for them to be subjected to any injustice in the first place. Who would wrong them, God or people? That's it. Paradise is a place that means what exactly? It means that every person will be rewarded according to what they did, whether it's eternal punishment in hell or entering paradise and staying there forever. So what does it mean that they won't be wronged even a speck after their good deeds and entering paradise? Where did this come from exactly? Honestly, I just don't get it. Anyway, that was a question. How does the phrase, "they will not be wronged even a speck," make sense when they've already done good deeds and entered paradise? There's really no room for them to be wronged in the first place. So why does it say, "they will not be wronged even a speck"? The second point is, what's the difference between verse 12 and verse 124, which we're discussing now? Whoever does good deeds enters paradise. It's the same meaning. There's no change, really, but I don't know. Anyway, verse 125. And who could have a better religion than someone who submits himself to God, does good, and follows the faith of Abraham, the upright? And God took Abraham as a close friend. The verse is asking, who is better, right? And who is more upright than someone who is sincere in his faith, acts upon that faith, and follows the way of Abraham? Abraham, whom God chose, whom God selected and honored with being brought close to him. Who could be better than that? There's really no one better than that, anyway. The source here is Al-Tafsir Al-Kabir by Imam Al-Tabarani. Alright, I have no questions about that. 126. To God belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth, and God encompasses everything. The meaning is that God owns the heavens and the earth, and nothing about his creation on the face of this earth is hidden from him. That means he sees all of us, knows what we're doing, what we're leaving behind, all of that, completely. And the people who did good, they will be rewarded, they will get the reward for the good they did. And those who did wrong will naturally be punished. That's it, sir. The source is Al-Wazit fi Tafsir Al-Quran by Sheikh Muhammad Sayyid Tantawi. The real question here is, who is the one speaking about God using the phrase was? He says, and God was, or he was God, encompassing everything. So who exactly is talking about God here? Honestly, we stopped asking that question a long time ago. But I'm just trying to bring it up again so people can start thinking about it, you know. Alright. 127. They ask you for a ruling concerning women. Say, God gives you a ruling about them, and what is recited to you in the book concerning the orphan girls to whom you do not give what is prescribed for them, and you desire to marry them, and concerning the oppressed among children, and that you should deal justly with orphans. And whatever good you do, surely God is ever all-knowing of it. Honestly, there's a story here. And you desire to marry them. This used to be recited in two ways. The first way, and you desire to refrain from marrying them. And this was Aisha's recitation. The second recitation was, and you desire to marry them. And this was the recitation of a completely different group. So, in the end, from and in were removed, and it became, and you desire to marry them. Alright, who is the source for this claim that there used to be from and in, and both of them were removed? It used to be recited like that, not as it is in the Quran now. That's how it was recited. Sometimes it had from added, and other times in. So they removed from and in, and it became just that. Who says that? The source is Al-Qurtubi's Al-Jami Liyakam Al-Quran. Among them is a verse that was the recitation of Aisha, the Prophet's wife. Alright, that's one point. That was the recitation. Alright, fine. Now, about the story of what was written for them, what does that mean, what was written for them? What is meant by what was written for them? There are three opinions on this. The first opinion says that what is meant is inheritance. What was written for them refers to inheritance, alright. And what's the evidence? It's in verse 127, and do not give them what was written for them. The second opinion says no, it's not inheritance. So what is it then? He says it's the dowry. So what's your evidence? The evidence is If you fear that you will not deal justly with the orphans, then marry those that please you of women 2, 3, or 4, which is the 3 women we just talked about, right? Now, there's a third opinion that says no, it's neither inheritance nor dowry. So what is it then? He says, no, what's meant here is marriage. Alright, so what's your evidence? He says, marry the orphans, marry the singles. Sorry, I mean, marry the singles among you, which is in An-Nissa, verse 32. So these are 3 different opinions. One says inheritance, another says dowry, and another says marriage. What's the source for all this? Majma al-Bayan fi Tafsir al-Quran by Al-Tabarsi. Very well, actually, this verse here has nothing to do with the one before it at all, because the previous one was describing paradise with rivers of wine, milk, honey, and water flowing beneath it. And all these things, and God taking Abraham as a friend, you know, and the people of the book and their discussions with the Muslims, and all that. Suddenly, the topic shifts to women's rights. I mean, there's no connection. There's not even any introduction to the topic. No, it just comes out of nowhere like that. Alright, so my question is, what's the connection between the verse? Yeah, verse 127 of An-Nissa and the 4 verses before 128. And if a woman fears ill treatment or desertion from her husband, there is no blame on them if they make terms of peace between themselves, and reconciliation is best. And souls are prone to selfishness. But if you do good and are mindful of God, then surely God is well aware of what you do. The reason for the revelation of this verse is that it was revealed about Lady Sauda bint Zameh. Why? Because when she grew older, when she advanced in age, the Prophet wanted to divorce her, so she said to him, keep me as your wife and give my night to Aisha. Why to Aisha? To Lady Aisha, that's good. So this verse was revealed. Why? Because she was afraid that her husband would divorce her or something like that. So this verse was revealed about her, exactly. Who is the source that says this verse was revealed about Lady Sauda bint Zameh, the Prophet's second wife after Khadija's death? The one who says this is Fath al-Qadir by al-Shawkani. Exactly. So what's the meaning here, or what's the story of what happened? Just as it was mentioned in Fath al-Qadir and by dozens of jurists. Honestly, when I found this story repeated, I didn't want to cite just one specific source. I thought, that's it, since there are about 20 sources telling this story in exactly the same way I'm about to tell it. So what did they say? They said that after Khadija's death, there was a woman named Khala bint Hakim. She went to the Prophet and said, O Prophet of God, you have 2 little girls who need to be raised and cared for, and so on. So I have 2 options in front of me. Either I propose to you Aisha, the daughter of Abu Bakr, or I propose to you Sauda bint Zameh. So, who did she go to first? She checked on Aisha first. They found that this little girl was just a child, so she wasn't suitable. She said to him, O Messenger of God, she's just a little girl, a child, she doesn't understand. He said, all right, see about Sauda bint Zameh. She raised the 2 girls, Fatima and Kulthum, and all that. Anyway, she went to Sauda. So, what about Sauda? She agreed and married the Prophet, took care of his children and all those things. Anyway, when they migrated to Medina, who did the Prophet marry? He married Aisha. Alright, fine. When he married Aisha, he wanted to divorce. Who? The old one, which is Sauda. So Sauda said to him, O Messenger of Allah, let me stay married to you and don't divorce me, and give my night to Aisha. He said to her, if that's the case, fine. So he fulfilled her request and kept her as his wife. Of course, there are other opinions that say no, he actually did divorce her, so she waited for him on the road as he was returning to Aisha's house and pleaded with him. She said, O Messenger of Allah, take me back, I don't want anything, and you can give my night to Aisha. So he took her back. In other words, he had actually divorced her and then took her back. there are two opinions. There's also another verse that was revealed about Lady Sauda bint Zameh as well. When she went out, she was a tall woman with a big build, a bit overweight, and she went out to relieve herself in the open. So anyway, Omar ibn al-Khattab saw her and said to her, "We saw you, Sauda. We caught you. You know what I mean." So, when he said that to her, a verse was revealed about this situation. She had just gone out to relieve herself. Omar saw her, the verse was revealed, and the Prophet wasn't involved in the matter at all. By the way, so, what did the verse say? It says, "O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters to draw their cloaks closely around themselves." Isn't that right? That is more suitable so that they may be recognized and not harmed. And Allah is ever forgiving, merciful. That's exactly Al-Ahzab 49. Alright, so what was this verse about? This incident was the reason for the revelation of the verse. So, there are two verses that were revealed about Sauda bint Zameh, and actually, I took the title from her and called them Sauda's verses. Anyway, to be honest, I have a lot of questions about this situation. So, what are these questions? The questions are, did she give up? The first question is, did Lady Sauda bint Zameh willingly and gladly give up her night to Lady Aisha? That was the question, honestly. I mean, I compare this situation to someone who has money and has been divorced for a year, 2, or 3. So you tell him, "Uncle, if you don't want to pay, then don't pay." He says, "All right, thank you, that's it." But are you yourself really okay with him not paying the money? You're actually saying that out of helplessness, trying to appeal to the person to pay what he owes. So, she didn't really say it like that. And I think the issue was really about poverty that Lady Sauda was going through, because she needed someone to take care of her. She had grown old and needed to eat and drink, So, was her offer, and the Prophet's acceptance of that offer, giving her night to Lady Aisha, done willingly and with satisfaction from Lady Sauda, or not? That was my first question, honestly. The second question, or rather, I want to present two scenarios before I get to the second question. The truth is, the Prophet married Sauda, right? Sauda grew old and was no longer able. So, first, the Prophet married Sauda. Second, Sauda grew old and was no longer able to fulfill her marital duties. I mean, properly, as expected. When a woman gets older, she can't really do it either. Alright. Third, the Prophet wanted to divorce her. Fourth, she gave up her night to Lady Aisha. Fifth, the Prophet accepted her offer and carried it out. That was one scenario. Now, if we reverse this scenario and say that the Prophet married Sauda. The Prophet grew old, Sauda, and was no longer able to fulfill his duties, whether work, marital, or religious. Sauda asked for a divorce, alright, and then married someone else so he could fulfill her religious duties and so on. So here, how would we have treated Lady Sauda in this situation, honestly speaking? But those were just two scenarios. I mean, I just imagined them, honestly. Alright. The second question, has the Prophet become the central focus of the Quran? He is the focus of the text. That was my second question, honestly, because it was the Prophet's actions on earth that caused the verse to be revealed, not the other way around. You get what I mean? Because, look, here's what happened. What happened is that the Prophet was one man. The Prophet married two women. God framed this story in a verse when something happened between him and his wife. There was an argument, and she told him, "Don't divorce me." When he said to her, "I'll divorce you," she told him, "Don't divorce me." God framed these words. This dispute was put into a verse, alright. He revealed it to Gabriel. Number 3, 4. Gabriel brought it down to Muhammad. Number 4. 5. What is it? meaning Gabriel delivered it to the Prophet Muhammad, and the Prophet Muhammad conveyed it to the people as Quran. That's exactly what happened, basically. So, did the Prophet Muhammad become the central figure of the Quran? That was the real question. The second question. The third question. Did Lady Sauda, in turn, also become a central figure in the Quran? Because Lady Sauda also went out to relieve herself. That's 1. 2. Omar ibn al-Khattab saw her. Alright. 3. God framed this going out and that's citing into a verse. And who did he send it down with? With Gabriel. Alright, what did Gabriel do with it? He conveyed it to the Prophet Muhammad. Alright, what did the Prophet Muhammad do with it? He delivered it to the people as Quran. That's the whole matter. I mean, pay attention. So, did Lady Sauda, in turn, become a central figure in the Quranic text? That was, honestly, the real question. The next question is the story of Sauda bint Zameh and the Prophet threatening to divorce her? Or rather, let's not say threatening, let's say the Prophet said he would divorce her, and then offered her the option to give up her night. Is this just a narrative in the Quran, or is it meant to teach a lesson? And if it is meant to teach a lesson, what is the lesson that people can take from the story? Is the lesson that when a man gets married and his wife grows old, he should divorce her, or that she should give up her night to the younger wife he just married? Is that really the lesson we're supposed to take? We just want to understand. So that was the question, honestly. The next question is the last one. I'm sorry if I took too long with the questions. The next question says that they should reconcile between them. So where is the reconciliation? May God reconcile between them. Honestly, I kept repeating it and looking at it. I understand it as they make a reconciliation between them, or they carry out a reconciliation between them. Because a person eats food and discusses a topic, you see, he doesn't just discuss a discussion, nor does he give a giving, nor eat an eating. He eats food or discusses a topic, or travels. I mean, it's a task, something like that. I think so. But reconcile a reconciliation, and reconciliation is best. Alright, honestly, I didn't understand it. Reconcile a reconciliation. That's fine. 129 says, and you will never be able to be completely just between women, even if you strive to do so. So do not incline completely to one side, leaving the other like one suspended. And if you reconcile and are mindful of God, then surely God is ever forgiving, merciful. The real meaning here is that you won't be able to balance or be absolutely fair between the new young wife and the old mother of your children. Why? Because inclination, love, and intimacy are matters of the heart that a person has no control over. He can't control them. Alright, that's clear. But he tells you, do not incline completely to one side. I mean, brother, at the very least, be fair in what you can control, like providing for them, be equal in spending on both. You know, and then love whoever you want to love. Because that's a matter of money, something you can handle. I mean, what did the Prophet himself used to say? Oh Allah, do not blame me for what I have no control over. Which is the emotions, my feelings are just drawn in that direction. What am I supposed to do? That's just how it is. Anyway, don't make it so that the mother of your children or the older wife feels like she's imprisoned. She gets neither enjoyment nor financial support. It's like she's neither married nor unmarried. You're just keeping her for yourself, not spending on her, not giving her any pleasure, and not letting her go. That's the idea. So, who was the source here? It's still from Bar al-Ulum. 130, and if they separate, Allah will enrich each of them from His abundance. If they get divorced, then Allah will provide for both of them from His bounty, and Allah is all-encompassing, all-knowing. The meaning here is that if they actually do get divorced, both of them should have good expectations of Allah, or trust in Allah. Maybe God will bless the husband with someone who will bring joy to his eyes. And maybe he will bless the wife with a husband who provides for her, treats her well, and makes her happy. Very good. So that's the verse, that's the story, basically. Yeah, so here, actually, there's a little story mentioned by the source I'll tell you about in a moment. It says that Jafar ibn Muhammad, someone narrated a story about him. So, Jafar ibn Muhammad went to someone and said, "I'm poor and I don't have any money or anything." He said to him, "Look at what God says. If they are poor, God will enrich them out of his bounty." That's from Surah An-Nur, verse 32. Go get married. Maybe God will bless you. Alright, the man went and did as he said. He went and got married. Okay, he came back to him after a while, still poor, complaining about his poverty. He said to him, "Let me tell you something." He replied, "Yes." He said to him, "Go get divorced, because God says, and if they separate," which is the verse we have, 130. An-Nissa, God will enrich each of them from his abundance. So, he has the verse for marriage and the verse for divorce. Both are ready, really. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you next Friday.